What is up, good people? Man, welcome to this great show that we have today talking about entrepreneurship. Jeff, man, what's good?
What's good, bro?
How you feeling today?
I'm always feeling great.
Hey, man, I like your shirt, dog.
I love your shirt, bro.
Hey, man, for real, man. This is dope.
It's dope.
Hey, I like that new product we got, though.
Oh, you like that? Oh, yeah.
Man. Hey, man, that boy is frosted.
And it keeps shit cold.
Man, hey, I wonder when it's going to come out.
All they got to do is order it.
All they got to do is order it?
That's all they got to do.
Oh, man, I don't think we want to get into that. They ain't even subscribed yet.
Got to subscribe and order.
You got to subscribe
Boom,
and order.
You got to subscribe
So how about this? How about when we get to 500 subscribers, we'll start taking orders and we'll even do a package deal.
There you go, right there.
Package deal.
Matter of fact, we get to 500 subscribers. I'll give them away. Oh, I can't even say it. No, I'm not. No, I won't.
Don't tease it like that.
See, they wouldn't even come out. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I can't do it.
So I want to give y'all a great introduction to our special guest, Fred. He is the owner of PDS, and he came to talk about his journey on his own Amazon delivery service. So we got some questions for him, and he's going to inspire us on how he did it. I mean, we all know owning a business, is difficult to start up, the financing if you don't have it, and then doing it as a black man, or a black couple or anything like that. We know that we face some challenges in being able to do it.
We face all the challenges, not some.
Okay, well, all the challenges, all the challenges. So we're gonna have a conversation with Fred. Fred, go ahead and tell us a little about yourself.
Hey, Jay Smooth, Jeff. Hey, thanks for having me.
For sure.
That's just habit. That's just habit.
It's all right. Hey, we gonna roll with it. We gonna roll with it. My old name used to be Jay Smooth. Y'all know me as MNG, but
not old. It's not old if it's still being used. It is current.
My bad. It's habit. I'm sorry. It's habit. But that's his nickname. We've had that name for many years, and I'm just so used to calling Jay Smooth. So
that's what's up.
If I say that, hey, just roll with me. But me and my better half, who was supposed to be here, but unfortunately she couldn't be here today. So I'm here sitting in for both of us, and I'm born and raised in Detroit. All my life I've been here. Extended family. I got big family, uncles, aunts, and cousins. We all born here. We originated from Macon, Georgia. My dad is from Macon, Georgia. My mom was from here. Both of them are, no longer with us. May they rest in peace. But been around. Went to Western Michigan University. So I'm a Bronco. And everything. And I've got three sons. I got one 39. My son Brandon, and I got two sons. One 16, be 17 next month.
Okay.
And one 18, just graduated from high school, about to head to Oakland University.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Hopefully he's gonna play a little ball up there.
Congratulations. That's what's up.
Sir.
I got one granddaughter. That's my baby. She 19, be 20 in December. So I'm telling my age again.
But hold on, I got a question though, Fred.
Go ahead.
You got your oldest son is 39.
Yep.
What in the world made you start over with two more?
My wife.
My wife. Okay. Well, hey, I ain't mad. Hey, I would have got cut
wife,
up, brother.
My wife, she made me do it. So that's the reason why. And I got a shirt my youngest son Michael gave me for Father's Day, and I haven't worn it yet. Because I want to find the right place to wear it. I want everybody to see this shirt. And it says across the top, it says, "Proud father of a few dumbass kids." That's what
I like that shirt.
I love that shirt.
Somebody give me a shirt like that.
For Father's Day.
The kids nowadays, he hit it right on the nail.
Man.
I wonder sometimes, man. I couldn't live without them, man. They all three of them, they make bonehead decisions sometimes, but hey, that's my heart and soul.
Facts.
Hey,
Facts.
I feel that. I feel that. All right, so tell us about your business.
PDS, professional delivery service. We started it back in 2018, and how it started. I'll give you a brief synopsis on that. Is I was sitting at home one day and I was on the computer, on Amazon's website, and I was ordering some stuff, and this screen popped up and said, "Own your own business for $10,000." So I'm like, wow, So I, kind of looked at it and read a little bit about it, and it was logistics based, type of business. And my background is in logistics. I mean, I worked at UPS for like 20 years, I was 2.5 years in management, and the other 17 and a half, I was, 2.5 years as a driver, I should say, and the other 17 and a half in management. So I had a logistical background.
Yep.
And I said, well, let me deep dive into this. And I started reading more and more and more, and got to the part where they, said, hey, if you're really interested, go here, click on this link, fill out the application, submit it, and let's see what happens. So I did that. And that was like in May of 2018, so I didn't hear from anybody for a couple months, and I started hearing about the program, the DSP program, and I'm like, all the applications they probably gonna get, why would they pick mine,
Yeah.
And so I had some doubts, and my wife was like, don't be positive, I had some friends, we were out to dinner one night, and this was like around August, somewhere like that, and we were talking about it, and I was like, oh man, I ain't gonna call me, And a couple of days after that dinner, I get a call, and it was Amazon, So they was like, we want to interview you, go do the first round of interviews. We're interested. We liked your application, and we want to move this thing further, And we started the process, So I went through the interview process, went through 3 interviews, and got through each one of those interviews, and then I went up to one of the distribution centers, and I met some people and done what they call a ride along, with one of the companies that was already established, and then I got email saying hey, how did you like the ride along? If you liked it, we'd like to move further with you. We were very, very intrigued by your interviewing, and we think that you would make an excellent, delivery service partner. I said, let's move further. Let's do this thing all the way. I'm in, for the taking. So started it, and in October of 2018 we launched.
That's what's up.
We launched. So that's what happened. We started out with 5 drivers, 5 routes, and today we got like over 120 drivers.
Oh wow!
So it's grown immensely. It's been very, very blessing, very big blessing.
And that's and just for context, I was there, while you were going through that building process. And I remember asking you when you had told me about it. I was like, what made you want to do that? I mean, I know where we worked at was a little rough on some days. I did security because we worked at Joe Dumas Field House together, and I did security when I was there. And Fred had given me my first management position. He realized the asshole in me. So that's what he told me. He was like, Jay, we the same kind of person. You're an asshole. I was like, Fred, I don't know if that's I don't know. It was a good compliment.
I mean, since you said that, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but I've been putting that out here since we started this podcast. So now that for you to admit it, you can't. It's being recorded, so you can't take it back. I'm just letting you know. That's all I'm saying. But Fred, question: without the support of the wife and people keep pushing you think you'd have kept going if you didn't have that support?
I think I would have kept going, but the support was an integral part of the success.
Right.
you know, and I don't know if the success would have been as great as it's been
Right.
without that support, you know. And I also wanted to, you know, give a shout out also, if I can,
Go ahead.
you know, and when it comes to support, my father-in-law is been ill, you know, and we've been dealing with that. He was there, like Jay said, he was on board when we started this out, but from the very beginning, my father-in-law was right there. In the first couple, delivery vans that we got, my father-in-law was responsible for that. So I just wanted to tell him, I told him today, you know, we was over at the hospital with him, and I was just leaving there when I came over here to do this, you know, and that's why she's not here, because she's over there with him now. But I told him today, you know, I don't think I had ever told him, you know, how important he was, you know, to that process, and, you know, being a part, you know, of our success, you know. So it takes, you know, when you go into business, I think, you know, you got to have somebody, because when you start talking about money and stuff like that, you know, you got to have somebody you really can trust, you know, because that's important, you know. And if you can't trust, you know, hey, your right hand and your left hand, you know, which most of the time that's going to be a spouse or your girl or your husband or your guy, you know, and you know, it's hard to trust, you know. And I got some trustworthy people. My sister, you know, very, very integral part of my life, you know. So you
blessed,
know,
brother.
I was blessed, you know. So those people played important roles, and then other family members as well, some cousins, and you know, people like that. So I like you said, I've been blessed.
Yeah, and I think it's good to have, you know, a particular circle around you that can help hold you up and, you know, push you further, because then everybody comes along that supported you, you know, in that adventure. You know, when you don't have that circle, you know, and you have to rely on yourself, it makes it so much harder, but the reward is so much better, you know, at the end.
Yeah, but it take a long time to get that reward, though.
It does.
When you got somebody that's supposed to be in your circle pushing you, and they actually hold on to you because they ain't moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're absolutely right.
You got to weed them ones out.
Yep.
All right, so the initials PTSD, you said earlier that it's professional delivery service. Like, what prompted you to use like those specific letters? Like, it could have been anything that you could have used, but professional delivery service, what made it stand out the most?
I think you know, delivery was there. That's what we do.
Okay.
You know, we provide a service, but the professional part is how I wanted to, you know, or what kind of culture I wanted to establish, you know, with my company. And I'm big, you know, like, you know, a lot of other DSP owners, if you came over and you looked at, you know, when you're out there and you see, you know, the Amazon, you know, delivery people, you know, you look at them and a lot of them are not as sharp as UPS, you know, we have the vests on, and you know, some of them wear their uniform, some of them don't, you know, but I always, you know, looked, and I learned this a long time ago, is that one thing about UPS was, you know, they were very professional oriented. You know, you had to be professional. Now I see some of them out there now, they kind of like, I'll be looking, I'm like, wow, you can wear that on your head, you can do that, you know. And so when they were so conservative back when I was there, you know, I just always stand on that professionalism, you know. So I said, you know what, UPS was the best, you know, at that time, you know, delivering packages and things of that nature, you know. So I said, UPS. I said, I got a little ring to it, you know. I said, professional delivery service, you know. And then in short, PDS, and you take that and you associate it with UPS. And I think, hey, I feel like my guys delivering those packages for PDS just as good as the UPS drivers, and I drive that in them. You know, it's about being professional, at all times. You know, I don't allow blue jeans. I don't allow them to wear, you know, head wraps. You know, guy got a dreads. He want to hold his dreads down. You can do that, but you better have on a Amazon hat. You know, so you know, I'm big on the professionalism. You know, so that's how I came up with that.
And that also ties into branding, core values, recognition. You know, they'll be able to establish, you know what, when I get this package from on this route, or from this, or when I order, you know, oh, this is how they come up and stuff like that. And when it's somebody else, this is how they come up, you know. So I mean that's good because you're establishing your brand and you're establishing the core values, and your employees is adhering to it, even just wearing the uniform.
Oh
You
yeah.
know? Yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah.
I can deal with that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So how do you navigate marriage and working with your wife, because y'all work together on the company, within the company y'all work together?
First, how long y'all been married or been together?
We've been together
Are you asking me a hard question?
19, something like 19, 20 years. Yeah.
19, 20 years.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
You see how long it took to come up?
Yeah.
Hey man, us married people, we lose track at the 10 years.
I had to count.
Yeah.
Seemed like longer than that though. Sometime, but we don't really work together every day. We, because we'll bring it home a lot, especially her. She's she's beyond passionate, and she actually learned, because she went to law school,
Okay.
and she has a master's degree, in HR, so she doesn't, she knew nothing about logistics, nothing about delivering packages. And when I finally got the confidence, Amazon wanted to send me out to LA, to talk to some potential owners, about coming on board. We were doing so well. They said, hey, we want, they pegged me to go out there with some other owners and, talk about the program and everything and, the success we were having. And I was scared to go because I had never left, and I was like, hands on big time, and she was just kind of like coming on board, and I was like, she was like, go ahead, we got this, don't worry about it. We got it. And I was so nervous. And come to find out, she had been learning the business, she'd go into the center and deep dive into all, if an Amazon person was doing this, she was, well, what are you doing? And so now to this day, really I'm thinking about, next June, I'm thinking about giving it up, and turning it over. We was even talking the other day in a meeting with my business coach. And my business coach was saying, you talking about retiring next year. Why don't you just turn the business over into your wife's name? Because Amazon only recognizes one person. DSP owners, it can only be one person, even though she has a lot. The only time she doesn't have the credentials of an owner is when we go to what we call Ignite. We do that once a year. We go to Vegas for like a big convention. Okay. And you can bring your second or your better half with you, but they can't attend any of like the seminars or anything. They can go to the parties. But, my wife can't go, and they just started that, because we first did the Ignite, your wife couldn't do nothing. She couldn't go to the parties or your better half couldn't do anything. So now, they can at least go to the parties, but Amazon only recognizes one owner. And but she has really, hey, they know who actually runs PDS. Because I step back a little bit, I do all of the financial stuff and the legal stuff, and I deal with the fleet and all that, but the day-to-day operation, she's a big part of running that, but we don't work on the same days. We work opposite days. We're never in the office at the same time. Okay. So that's how we balance it, because if we did, we'd probably be at each other's throat, to
see each other too much.
That'd be too much, man. So we actually split, like today, she went in. Normally I go in on Fridays, but she asked me, if you go in on Wednesday for me, I'll go in on Friday for you, and then she explained, you'd be off Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, So she works more. I work 3 days, she worked 4 days, but we're never in the office at the same time.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Now I got one for you. Now, dealing with 3 young men, Black young men, how did y'all teach them the values and the common sense that they have and still run a successful business?
Well, my oldest one, it take a lot, when they get to be that old, because he's worked with me when I ran Joe Dumar's Fieldhouse. He worked at Joe Dumar's Fieldhouse with me. Unlike me promoting Jay Smooth, I fired him. Okay, because he was a knucklehead. You know that shirt I told you about. Father of a few dumbass kids. He's one of them dumbass kids. But he's working for me. He works for PDS.
Okay.
And I love him to death. My two youngest sons, my middle son Antonio, who was probably the most dependable of my three kids. He works there on Mondays and Fridays now before he goes to school. So he works two jobs, So he works there. And my youngest son, Michael, also works at PDS, So, Tonio has even shown some interest in, hey, one day, Dad, hey, I think I might want to run PDS, So that's a legacy that, we're trying to establish, and, I instill in them, the same things and the same values that my dad instilled in me, and I tell them, hey, whatever you're going to do in life, I said, the most important thing, and when I talk about the business and starting the business and things of that nature, maybe I might be jumping ahead because I know you got some other questions, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going right into the
try
next
to
part.
install in them, the core values of, because they ask you 3 questions on your application. They say, name 3, give me 3 words that's going to describe the culture of your company, and I've helped other, people, with their application, and they'll call me up and say, Fred, I want to fill out this application. How should I do it? And some of them have been successful and got their own company, as well, but I tell them all, one word that you got to put, I see people put 3 words. I'm like, you got to take one of them words out that you put. You always put respect. You got to put respect in there. You want to run a culture, driven company based on respect. And you throw integrity in there. Don't get me wrong. That was part of mine, but that respect was a huge thing. And I instill that in them. If you want to make me upset, come with some disrespect. And that's what my kids and and anybody. I want them to respect people, and I want them to also hey, get respect. But that's what I instill in them. That's the first thing. You got to respect what you're doing, and whatever you do, you got to do it, based on respect.
Facts.
I get that, and I think that applies to any organization. I think organizations that have been around so long that have changed guards lose that integrity and respect because certain people have their own way of doing something.
That's
And just because the way that they do it is, can be effective in some areas, it may not be effective in other areas.
Right.
Yep, that's true.
And you can lose a lot of trust from your employees because you don't, and you lack that respect in certain areas.
Yeah.
When it comes to running an organization or anybody's organization, for that matter. That's why CEOs get so much flack depending on what they do for the organization or what they do outside of the organization.
But I don't think they care because now it's a dollar-driven world. Now they lack of respect to them is like, what is respect? My bank account getting full.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
True.
I don't think no company is really picking up respect or integrity anymore because it's not driving them dollars to them. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And they do that, most people do it, based on driving the buck, drive no matter what, hey, shortcut they got to take or who they got to step on, and things of that nature. And I'm built like this, hey, if, there's a lot of money to be made, and I don't have to get it all.
Right.
I can get my portion and then share some. That's one thing we do at PDS. We share the wealth, and we are the only company to do some of the things we do from a monetary standpoint, like our top 5 drivers, we give $10,000 to them no DSP does that. That's out my pocket,
Oh wow.
$10,000, we started out, which we've since had to stopped doing it because Amazon wanted us to stop doing it, but we used to round our hours, where what that means is that when we start hiring people, we started out, promising them a full-time job, and we had, an incentive to you getting your 40 hours, in this, we every other week, it's payday, so 80 hours per check, so, we got a lot of our drivers that came on before we stopped doing it, which we stopped doing it, late last year. So that tells you how long we've been doing it.
Right.
When you got hired in, you came in and you get a 10-hour route. We work 4 days on, 3 days off, so you get 10-hour routes, if you finish that 10-hour route, in 7-8 hours, my wife still pays you 10 hours. So we got drivers, that, hey, that has never, we got some drivers that are good enough to where they've never worked an actual 80-hour check.
Wow.
They worked 64, 65, and they get 80 hours. We have drivers come in, hey, and they might get paid actual hours because they got lazy one day and said, and I won't say lazy, but they didn't feel like, because they're part of it is going to rescue and helping other drivers, so sometimes they say, I don't want to rescue, well, you know what? You're going to get paid extra hours because that's a part of the incentive, so they'll come in, I didn't get nothing but, 76 hours, well, you got paid actual hours one day because you didn't want to help somebody, and stuff. But most of our drivers, they still under that, 40-hour a week, 80-hour, paycheck,
right.
They get that rounded hours, so, we share the wealth, we pay our drivers more than anybody, any DSP, around. Most DSPs, they step van drivers. Those the drivers that drive the bigger vehicles, they make $21 an hour. We pay ours $23 an hour.
Okay.
So we go outside of the guidelines.
Right.
Because we like I say, we like to share the wealth. We always have different contests. We have attendance contests. Where we share the wealth. So that's the thing. It's enough money. Hey, well, I'm gonna live comfortably.
Right.
Right.
And I want you to, hey, enjoy working for my company, and those are some of the incentives we do,
That's what's up.
to make it enjoyable.
Fred, I'm gonna tell you now, I did not get my $10,000. I didn't get my perfect attendance. I've been working for you the last couple of years.
Hey, you sound like an employee. You sound just like one.
I feel like you back like on child support. I need my money, Fred.
Jeff, you sound just like one of my employees.
Hey, but that's what's up, man. That make a person come to work and actually work for real. That's what's up.
We try.
So based on those, some of the few things you said, some of the things that drew employees in, so far as some of the incentives, what would you say are some other best practices to starting a business or for those that's currently in the building process? Because like me and Jeff, we do this live and everything, and I do some other videos, and we're still in the we started in December doing lives. We started in December. We started in December doing lives. We eventually started to branch out and do a few other things. So we're still in the building process, of our business and still establishing, our identity and getting more subscribers. So eventually we do want to turn this into an LLC where it actually generate cash, and we doing the products and everything, product placement and everything like that. What would be some best practices from your experience, would you say, for anybody that's out there and here to that's starting a business?
The big thing is to remember that most businesses fail within the first year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And most businesses that don't fail within the first year only last about 5 years before they go under. One thing is the product. You gotta have a good product. You gotta make people, especially if it's dependent on hey, people. And most of the things that you do, if Amazon didn't have a good product, there would be no Amazon.
That's true.
So it's about having a good product, but the key is planning. Putting together a good plan. And working that plan through. having a contingency plan, in case that doesn't, pan out, but I used to have a saying that I used to say all the time, when I used to go to schools and doing, career day. And I used to have some schools that would, call me up every year and say, Fred, we got career day. We come over and speak, and talk to the kids about careers and things of that nature. And I used to always tell them, planning is so important, and failing to plan is a plan to fail. So if you don't plan, then you planning to fail.
That's
so
true.
that's the key. When you get up, it used to be when I went to school, and you went on some vacation and it was getting close to going back to school in September. What was the thing that you did? You go school shopping and get your clothes, and and then what you did when you got home was, you planned for the first day of school. And you lay that outfit out,
the fresh Air Force One.
Like 3 showers a night before.
Oh yeah, and then back then, we didn't have Air Force, we had Chuck Taylors, so we wore the All Stars, Jay. We didn't have Air Force Ones back then, so we have our Chuck Taylors, all shiny white Chuck Taylors, and you plan, if you got a test you got to take in school, you got to plan for that test. You got to plan to study, so I think that's the big problem, when people, they go into business, you don't plan, and and that's what gets you, get you in trouble. So I think that's the key to being successful. And then not just planning to start the business, but planning for the future and where you want to be and where you want to go, with that business, whatever it may be, so that's key, and just being, being focused and remember, everybody look at, the one thing, they look at the dollar signs, they want to get to, hey, hold on, how much money I'm gonna make, and in order to get to that plateau, you got to remember, hey, it takes a lot. When I first started this business, when I left Joe Dumars, one good thing about, Brian Siegel and Scott and Joe and all, they kept me on the payroll, after I left, I was still on the payroll, and I was like a consultant to a friend of mine that I brought in to run, Tony Dawkins, know Tony, and I was a consultant to Tony, helping him run it, but I didn't take a salary from PDS for the first 6 months, something like that, until my financial advisor said, Fred, you got to start taking a salary, you got to start, you making good money, you got to start taking a salary. But I was I was working, 6-7 days a week, 12, 13, 14 hours a day, and that's what we did. And then my wife came on board, and she left her job, and she came on board, and we was putting hours in just like that. Because at first she was just working the weekends, but then she started putting, in those kind of hours. And, and we are hands-on owners. A lot of owners, if you talk to their employees, they'll tell you, hey, we don't ever see our owners, they just rake in the money, me and, my wife, we are in there. Like I said, one of us is in there every day, unless we go on vacation or something like that. We're in there every day, and we like the only DSP where you see the owner, on a daily basis. One of them, we gonna be in the center. Like I say, outside of Ignite in Vegas, when we go, Amazon looks at my wife. She has all the credentials that I have, pretty much. They as a matter of fact, they call her most of the time before they call me. They don't bother me at all. In that sense, I'm just like your typical owner. They don't bother Fred. They don't call me, but my wife handles all of that. But we are hands-on owners. And we take pride in being hands-on owners. We want our employees, hey, to, come into the office and talk to us, which they do, sometimes they get too comfortable, and stuff, they'll come in, and I had one call me and getting off the subject a little bit. He called me up, he's like, hey, I need to speak to Fred, when the supervisor said, well, is there something I can help you with, he was like, no, I need to speak to Fred, and I need to speak to Tegest. We thinking something, and he's one of our good drivers, I'm like, well, I hope this guy ain't about to tell me he gonna leave, and stuff, so finally we get him on the phone. And he's like, Fred, I got to ask you. I'm saying, okay, what's going on? And I'm just going to call him B. His first name started with a B. I'm like, B. So what's going on, B? He was like, can I borrow $750? And I'm like, well, B, you know what? A part of my contract is that, we can't lend money, to employees. I said, and even that, if that was not a part of the contract, I wouldn't get into nothing like that anyway, but they feel that comfortable with us sometimes, where they, I had one come in after that, and the extra borrow, he said, hey, can I borrow 5,000? And next year I'll give you back 6,000, I say, his name started with a C. I say, C,
see your ass out of here. That's a lot of slang.
I didn't put it like that, Jeff, but I was thinking that, man, you gotta be kidding me, but they, like I said, we that's the atmosphere that we've established,
right.
And it works in some, some ways. It's excellent because we've done some good things, with our employees and for our employees, because they, my wife is, she's helped. We had an employee who sister was living in North Carolina. She had like about 5 or 6 kids, and our employee, her and her husband works for us, and they had like 4 kids, and they struggled. At one point they was homeless, until we gave them a job, and then they found out that her sister and her boyfriend or husband, whatever, down in North Carolina was going to jail, and they had 6 kids. And they didn't know what they were going to do with the kids. So they went down there, got the kids, brought them back. They had nothing but the clothes on their back, and we raised a ton of money and gathered a ton of clothes and things like that, and gave it to them, and it really helped them to survive,
That's awesome.
So we do a lot of good stuff, for our employees above and beyond.
And I really think that's essential to keeping great employees. Like, if you don't do right by your employees, and you're just one of those owners that just take the money in and don't show them no respect, don't show them no concern, don't have any humanity for your employees, you just like a slumlord.
That's a good way
You just like a slum. You disagree?
Yeah, a little bit, not too much, because you got those workers that's coming in messing your stuff up. They want to steal your stuff and go sell it for a couple of dollars cheaper just so they can get some money.
Yeah, you're gonna have bad employees,
right?
Granted, you're gonna have those.
That's that 80-20 concept.
Yeah,
because 80% of your problems are caused by 20% of your employees.
That's a fact.
So you weed out that, and you don't worry about that. Hey, 20%. So you say, hey, that's that 80-20 concept. And you weed out, so you're gonna have some knuckleheads, and we got plenty of knuckleheads. With a staff like we got, always, you're always gonna have people that, no matter what you do for them, they're never going to be pleased. But you overlook that, and you still do what you do and what your company is, based on in the culture that you want to set, for your company. You stick to that no matter what, because, hey, like I said, you always gonna have some people that, you just, you give them $1, they want $1.50. It don't matter, and you ask them, what did you have for I gave you that $1? Nothing. But we feel better, when we have people come in. We had a young lady who came in, a couple months ago, and she was so excited, and she said, Fred, you know what? I just got a mortgage. It was $175,000 she got, but she said, I was able to obtain $175,000, for a home that I want to buy, all because of you and your wife and PDS. That's worth it. That's worth it. To deal with, hey, those 20%, who caused 80% of my problems, you
Right.
know. So I can roll with that, you know, because we've had several employees who were able to buy their first home working at professional delivery service.
That's what's up. That's
I don't know. I don't know if you can hear. I don't know if you're gonna hear anything more inspiring this weekend. Like if that doesn't inspire you to want to go out there and start your business, start your own, just go out there and just get it. All you got to do is just start. Like this is a business 5 years in the making. It has done from the stories, done some amazing things for some people, and you know you can either be the benefactor of greatness happening to you, or you can be that person that's providing the greatness. You know, and Fred is obviously the example of providing greatness and passing down the wealth to other people so they can in turn create their own wealth, even in the smallest way. Like a house in some way is developing and building wealth in some way. You know, I'm not gonna 100% say it is because I'm a little bit disagreeing when it comes to owning a home.
That ain't small. That's huge, man.
But it's a different story when you have somebody that comes from nothing. You know, and that wants to have something bigger and better for their next generation, even if it is their kids having on their own room. That's big. You know what I'm saying? They kids having a backyard. That's big. You know, them having their own space, whether it's in their own room or it's in a basement. That is big. To be in something that provides you the space for your kids to grow. And sometimes apartment is not enough. Sometimes a townhome is not enough. You know, or living in your people's basement. That's true. I'm just saying. I mean, those are the scenarios.
I mean, that's a fact. You're right. But I ain't gonna lie. You living in people's basement for a couple of years, you might save a couple of dollars. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying I did it. I didn't.
You down there with the spiders and roaches and rats. Man,
they got that. I'm definitely not coming to visit. Hold on, brother. Wait a minute.
I was about to tell a story, but I ain't gonna tell it. It's way off topic.
But I mean, I appreciate you, Fred, like for real, because it ain't too many men that can start something and keep their integrity, you know, because at the end of the day, the dollar drive a lot of people, especially a lot of us black folks. I'm gonna be 100 with you, because soon as we see $5,000 or $10,000 increase, we damn near at Hutch getting glasses, you know what I'm saying, or getting the latest shoes, or we not thinking about helping nobody that work for us, because we looking at it like you came to me for a job, but at the same time they're helping you build what you want, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate, you know, you guys, and I appreciate, you know, being able to bring this, you know, to, you know, whoever's listening, and you know, and we preach, like I say, sometimes you know, when they come into somebody say, well, Fred want to see you in his office, it's almost like the principal's office. They be like, oh, you know, and a lot of times you are in trouble, you know. But, you know, when I talk to them, you know, about some of the things, you know, that might be a problem, you know, from their attendance, you know, things like that, or their performance is not where it needs to be. You know, a lot of times I'll say, you know, hey, you know, I'm gonna talk to you, you know, not like the owner of this company. I'm gonna talk to you like my son, you know, and I talk to him. You know, we was the first DSP, you know, to offer 401k. You know, so we matched 401k up to 4%, you know, and I talked to him, you know, about being, you know, hey, prepared, you know, when opportunity. That's another thing that really kills us, our young black, you know, want to be entrepreneurs, you know, when an opportunity presents itself, you know. I mean, when I told you in the beginning earlier, I said, you know, I was on the computer when this thing popped up saying, hey, own your own business for $10,000. Well, you know, you couldn't start this business for $10,000. You know, it didn't start at 10 grand. We ended up having to be closer to 100,000, you know, and start PDS, you know. But the 10,000 was at that time, if you were a member of the military, you know, Amazon would give you 10,000. You know, and then the additional funds, you know, you'd have to come up with, you know, which, like I said, closer to about 100 grand and probably over 100 grand, you know, in some instances, you know. So we didn't get I wasn't in the military, so I didn't get that 10 grand. But you have to be, if an opportunity presents itself, the important thing is not only having that plan, but also putting yourself in the position to be ready and take advantage of that opportunity. A lot of time, like you said, not too long ago, Jeff, we get a little money, we going out to the mall, we buying them new Jordans and all of that, instead of saying, hey, the plan part comes in. If you got a plan to say, I need X amount of dollars to start what I want to do. And when you get an opportunity to get some money, hey, you put that money aside and you be ready when that opportunity presents itself, So that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure, hey, I brought up and said, hey, when that opportunity presented itself to me, I was in a position financially to jump on it,
and go,
and now almost 6 years later, we have, made, and I don't like throw money, numbers out there like that, but I'll tell you in 6 years, we've made over $35 million.
That's what's up,
at PDS, and I'm not saying everybody make that kind of money, but the opportunity is there. It's up to you to be in a position to take advantage of it.
I'm so glad I was in your circle, Fred. Damn. Well, I'm glad I leaped on him, bro. You know what I'm saying? I remember that night he was on the phone and he was like, man, this shit popped up. I'm like, go ahead, fill it out, Fred, bro. We good. We can do this. He was a little skeptical at first. I wasn't going to say this, but he was a little skeptical at first. I was like, go ahead, Fred, man. We got this. I'm glad we doing this.
Hey, yes, if you listen, I didn't tell you about my cousin Jeff.
All right, so let me ask you this, because you're throwing out a lot of knowledge out there, and I know everybody's trying to grasp onto it and grasp onto everything, and I know these questions is like. I know Jeff got questions and everything. But how do you navigate the new generation entering the workforce? We're talking about Gen Z. Because Gen Z
don't want to work. Let's be 100. Don't want to work. I mean, but he did just say he talked to them like they're his kids.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, because Gen Z is probably going to be one of the least amount of numbers come in the workforce, because it's not like the baby boomers, because there's a large number of them going in there. Gen X was the next that was going in there. Then it was the millennials. We're here now. And then we have our own focus on how we want to work and everything.
And then there's these kids. These kids.
So look, we're looking at just business owners, coming in, whether they're taking over somebody else's business, from boomers retiring, their entrepreneurship, from entrepreneurship. So like you are, when you leave, to just starting their own business, they're going to employ, either people in their family that's Gen Z, or strangers that are Gen Z. So from your experience, how do you and your company, you and your partner, navigate, those type of individuals in the workforce?
It's one of the most difficult parts, dealing with, and like Jeff said just a few minutes ago, they don't want to work, and that's what you run into a lot. What really, sometimes I sit and I be in my office and I kick back and I scratch my head, because a lot of them walk away from jobs, so easy. They just quit. I mean, we offer a pretty damn good package here. We offer 401k, we offer medical, we offer dental, we offer vision. It ain't no joke. I mean, I tell people all the time, look, I give you the same damn thing that Ford and Chrysler give you. Right. I give you an hourly wage, which ain't bad. I give you a benefit package, which ain't bad, and I give you a retirement opportunity, which ain't bad.
Where can I fill out application? Where's I'm
gonna get the number out. I'm gonna get.
Hey, y'all can jump on it. I'm gonna be there before y'all. I'm telling you now.
Hey, we do it all, and you find these young people come in and they will quit like it's nothing. And it just, I mean, the turnover sometimes it gets, to be very, very serious, whereas, we bring in the people and we have probably we have the longest tenured drivers. We got drivers that the average, what we call DA, delivery associate, the average delivery associate's, lifespan is about a year,
Okay.
Where they don't last but about a year, whereas, we have, some drivers that have been there. We give out, these 5-year, at these nice Letterman jackets, leather sleeves, real leather sleeves,
Okay.
we give out nice, plus a $500 bonus, and, we got like 8 or 9 people, that's been there 5 years working on, someone working on 6,
Okay.
and that's unheard of. When some of the Amazonians, Amazon upper, echelon, management people here, y'all got people been PDS for almost 6 years. I say, yeah. They be like, wow, but these people don't want to work, or they want something for nothing,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of them that, we've had more this year. I think for the first time, we've had more new people come in on the first day and go out and get injured, so it's a lot of opportunists, out there, on both ends of the spectrum, employees plus people in the street. I'm dealing with a lawsuit right now, so you have the pros and cons of this,
Right.
Okay.
I've dealt with more lawsuits, in my PDS life, way more than I've ever dealt with, somebody suing me. But, we had a situation with a driver got in an accident. The lady standing out there, who he got in an accident when she talking and, and pictures were taken and they asked you, want to go to the EMS take you to the hospital. Oh, I'm fine. And, a couple of weeks later, I get a letter, open it up from this lawyer. She has debilitating injuries now, where she's never going to be able to walk straight again, and all this. So it's so many when people, especially when they see that Amazon logo, the dollar signs, and that works on both ends, like I say, the spectrum. You have, people come in, and, we just dealt with a guy who came in and he, called back. He went on the route, called back about 2 or 3 hours into the route. Oh, I twisted my knee. I can't, and he on the phone. I mean, he sounded like he had just got shot,
Overactive.
I'm like, can you talk? What happened? Did you get shot or what? I twisted my knee. And I'm like, I done had 4 knee surgeries, basketball injuries and all that. And I, hey, cracked my patella and I ain't never sounded like that. Come on, and he, went. And we called him up after he came back, sent him to the clinic. He comes back. So the next day, when the supervisors called him up, and they could hear in the background, he out there cutting his grass, but he on workman's comp, he out there cutting the grass, hello, answering the phone,
Was he doing it with a limp?
Hell no, ain't nothing wrong with this knee.
No, man, nothing wrong with this knee. Nothing wrong with this knee,
That's the problem with this generation.
Yep.
They're willing to scam to get what they want instead of just going to work.
They don't want to work.
The lady probably never walked right. She probably always had a little dip in her, you know what I'm saying? But
and nothing was ever wrong with her. I don't think, she was down there talking to the driver and everything.
Trying to get some money.
Trying to get some money. Trying to get some money.
That's the crazy thing in this day. The biggest thing is these scammers. That's the craziest thing.
Facts.
People, and employees, like you said, they don't want to work. So, we try to stay ahead of the game. We constantly, we bringing in people. Every now and then, we are at a phase where we're not hiring. But for the most part, because it's Amazon is Amazon, man. It's so much volume and stuff. So we constantly moving packages, and so we go from peak season to now it's Prime Week coming up, in another week or so, where, and then after Prime Week, it's 2 weeks now. They do Prime Week 2 weeks. It used to be 1 week. After Prime Week, we starting to get ready for peak season again, for Christmas, so it's crazy all year long, man. It's all year long.
Man. Okay, so Gen Z, y'all gotta go to work.
You got to step up, man. You got to step up.
Y'all gotta get common sense first.
We need
you
Social
know.
Security.
Yeah. So I think the pandemic
We hit with that.
is a
We
big
hit.
cause for that. You know, because people was off work, they was getting all that money, free money, and they got lazy. You know,
Well, I don't even think it was that. I think they was already lazy.
Yo, they was.
You know, the pandemic just was like, well, here, just lay down even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
So
were. You're right.
It's man, get y'all ass up. All right.
So,
Well, I tell you.
so, and my last question for you, Fred. You know, I know you're a busy man, so you know I don't want to keep you too long.
No,
my guy, you know?
I'm here, man. I'm here. You know, I'm here.
What is some advice you would give to newcomers building their businesses?
You know what? You got to stay on course. You know, you can't get. You know, you might have a couple bumps in the road. You know, some barriers. You know, and you got to stay focused. If it's in your heart, you know, you got to be passionate about it, and you got to be willing to put the time in. You know, that's the key.
Yeah.
You know, don't look at down the road. You know, I learned this a long time ago. You know, hey, it's always about the bottom line. You know, don't look at, you know, hey, what you can make or how much money is involved in it. You know, because in order for you to get to that plateau, first you got to be successful at building, you know, what you're trying to build. You know, so the key to that is, you know, hey, be willing. You know, you got to be willing to work. You know, hey. Long hours. You got to be, you know, and you got to have some people that's going to be in your corner, and you know, and surround yourself with, you know, not a ton of, you know, people, but a few good strong people that, you know, got the same, you know, ethics and things of that nature that you have, you know, the same integrity and, you know, the same drive and goal. And that's key. You know, that's one of the things about Jay Smooth, Jeff, you know, that I really, when he first came on board at the field house and I hired him, you know, and I started watching him, you know, and I came up with the conclusion that he was an asshole. And I'm like, you know what? I know I can be an asshole, you know, and I never felt as comfortable with anybody, any of the managers that I had hired, you know, as I was with Jay Smooth. I said, because you know what? He has the same drive and that same determination as I have, you know, and he's going to do it just like I am a perfectionist, you know, and if one thing is out of place, you know, my wife will tell you, I don't give a damn how small it is. If it's out of place, Fred gonna see it. You know, he gonna see, and I will. I'll catch it. You know, in a heartbeat.
Man, don't come to my house. I painted my house, so don't even come to my crib, bro.
I'll catch it. I'm a
like who here? I ain't here.
But I am, and Jay was like that, you know, and that's the kind of people you have to surround yourself with.
Facts,
you know, and you know, and like I said, you got to be willing to put the time in, you know, because hey, you can get to that top of the rainbow or whatever you want to call it, a pot of gold or whatever, you know, you can get there, but it takes hard work. Nobody's going to. A lot of people sit around and they do a commercial about the lottery, you know, and gambling, you know, and they ask the lady, you know, what you gonna put in this corner of your house? I'm gonna put this real nice, you know, $25,000 piece right here, you know. And she said, as soon as I hit the 4-digit, you know, and he's like, oh, well, you gonna hit the 4-digit? So she's basing on furnishing her house with hitting the lottery, you know. Well, no, you got to go to work. You got, you know, you got to make some money, you know. And it's the same thing with a business, you know. Don't think that you can get to that pot of gold without working for it. You know, you gotta work, you know, and you gotta be willing to work hard, you know. So that's the key. That's the bottom line. You gotta be willing. If it takes 24 hours a day, you gotta be there sometime. Yeah, be there 24 hours a day. You know, you can't be talking about, well, it's my birthday. I gotta tell you, no, you work on your birthday. You know, you work on, you know, every day that God sends that you're trying to build something, you know. And you know, you find people just like, oh, I'm taking off my birthday. You got your business going yet? No, I'm gonna do it after my birthday. You know, okay.
They're gonna be saying that the next 10 years.
Exactly.
So that's the key, Jay. You know, that's the key, Jeff. You know, it's just working hard, man, putting the time in.
Well,
hold on, I got a question for him. I got a question.
Okay.
It's a question, but it's two parts. What would you tell your younger self back in the past that you know now, and what would you tell your wife of your past, in the past, your younger wife?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I know.
I would
Don't break my
I ain't see that.
I would tell myself what I learned, and what's been vital is patience. Being patient. It's a virtue. You got to be patient. You just got to take your time and like I said, that vision. You got to, hey, it doesn't happen overnight. Now, I'm not saying some people it does happen. You see people hit. My man out in California won $2 billion.
Yeah.
But how many? What's the odds that happened? So you got to have that vision. And I think when it comes to my wife, I would just tell her, hey, honey, we can do this together. And my wife, if I knew her back then, and just say, hey, let's build something, together. Because when you're young like that, you ain't thinking on those terms. You're thinking about running around, hey, getting your groove on, and and things of that nature. But when you meet a good woman like I have, who got my back, I mean, really got my back, and they, hey, do we fight? And yes, we do, but we get into heated arguments, and she'd be like, divorce ain't no option, and she let me know. She told me that. She's been telling me that, but divorce ain't no option here, so I'm like, you know what? Hey, I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah, there you go.
And so we stick to that, and that's what I would, say back, hey, when I was younger, hey, let's build something. And if you got a good girlfriend, I know a lot of times people tell you, oh, you're going to meet plenty of women along the way. You got a good girlfriend right now and you young, try to hang in there, because ain't nothing out here in these streets anyway.
No, it's not.
Hang in there and see what it's about, and you might be surprised what you already have. And not, like I said, don't always work out that way, but you'll be surprised. I think a lot of people go back and they'll think, dog, what, my high school sweetheart, hey, she, I see her today and she doing, some hell of a things. And I just hung in there, and like I say, hang in there and you'd be surprised, but you might already have, your queen.
Yeah, facts.
Yep. That's good. That was your 2-part question, because it's not like one question.
It was one question, but 2 parts.
2 parts.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Smooth. Come on, Smooth. You gotta be smoother than that.
I can never live this down. All right. Well, Fred, I appreciate you for coming onto the show, talking to everybody about the business. I don't have nothing. I don't have no ending. You know what I'm saying? Normally I do a little, they call me preacher. It's not a rant.
Preach.
A little preach, but I ain't gonna do that, but I definitely want to give Fred his flowers. I do want to state that I've known Fred since 2009 when he gave me that second job, and it's just been a great relationship throughout the years. Here it is 2024, and I've seen him do some great things, and he's taught me a lot. So I really want to say to everybody is to take heed to all the information that he has provided in this podcast and just in this episode, because he's talking from experience. I have been there to see it. I can vouch for it. This is a great man to know. And if you ever see a post for his business, it sounds like you may want to go there and work.
You feel me? Well, I can give them the number they can call.
Oh, okay.
If anybody want to call me, whether it's, for a job or whether just, hey, I talk to people all the time about business and about getting into the DSP program. You can give me a call at 248-550-9373.
All right, so that's our show. Hey,
what's the number?
248-550-9373. Yeah. I'm not gonna answer that phone, but just let them know what you want.
I'm not gonna answer it. I'm silent partner. I'm not answering.
But just tell them, and it'll get to me. Whatever. So if you want to, sit down and chat about the DSP program, hey, just let them know that. They'll get the message to me. If it's about a job, they'll set up the interview for you and have you come in. So.
That's what's up. That's clutch right there. I don't know if y'all ever seen nothing like that before, but that's clutch. But hey, make sure you like, subscribe, and share our content. Hey, 500 subscribers. Hey, we doing package deals. Jeff already said it. He couldn't even pronounce for free. Hey,
I'm not doing it for free.
Not.
No.
We gonna see you on the next go. Hey, peace.